ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 198 आनन्दमय ईशोऽयं बहुस्यामित्यवैक्षत हिरण्यगर्भरूपोऽभूत् सुप्तिस्वप्नो यथा भवेत्. So as a part of Mahavakya Vichara, now Vidyaranya is dealing with this Tatpadartha, Ishvara. And the discussion of Ishvara or the superior attributes of Ishvara is based on Mandukya Vakya. The sixth mantra of Mandukya Upanishad, Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvagnaha, Eshaha Antaryami, Esha Sarvasya Yonihi. Sarvasya Yonihi, Sarvasya Karanam. So Jagat Karanam. Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam. So this all have been discussed, and then the question arose was whether Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam or Brahman is a Jagat Karanam. Regarding that, Shruti itself contradicts. And so Purupakshi says, now clarify, before we go further, please clarify that Brahman is Jagat Karanam or Ishvara is Jagat Karanam. And this question we are raising you not to harass you, because the Shruti is not clear. So if Shruti is not clear, then where we will go? Shruti has to be whether one Upanishad or another Upanishad, third Upanishad, there should be a concurrence. If concurrence is not there, it's a very serious issue. Really, very serious issue. Vedikas, we are Vedikas, and the Veda itself is not clear. Who is a Jagat Karanam? And there is only source. Regarding Jagat Karanam, there is no source. Okay, we'll drop it and we'll go to another alternative source of knowledge to know about Ishvara. But there is no source. Science cannot talk about Ishvara. If science talks about Ishvara, it is a scientist's personal opinion. Science cannot talk. That's the dignity of a science. Science cannot talk. If any scientist talks, well, then it's his personal opinion. He may believe, other scientists may not believe. So that's only source is a Veda. And Veda itself contradicts. Brahman is Jagat Karanam. And if Brahman and Ishvara are one thing alone, we don't mind. You have used another word. That also is okay. But you say Brahman and Ishvara are not one also. And then say at one place Brahman is Jagat Karanam, others say Ishvara is Jagat Karanam. Means it is a serious issue. Clarify. And in Bhashyakara also does not, Bhashyakara sometimes says Ishvara, sometimes says Brahman. What is this? That's what this is. This is really one of the issues against Vedantin is this. That don't listen to any Vedantin because they themselves are not clear regarding Ishvara and Brahman. Really, that's a very big issue. So that's a question asked here, and then we said, well, Ishvara is composed of three things. When Ishvara, when we say it is a Chidabhasa only. Maya Sabalam Brahma, Maya Upahitam Brahma. So when Maya means we are talking about a Upadhi, a medium. Upadhi means a medium, reflecting medium. And Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanya, you can say. Maya Pratibhimbita Brahma. So Ishvara is composed of three things. When we say Maya Pratibhimbita Brahma, Maya Pratibhimbita Chaitanya means Chaitanyam should be there. Then Maya, the medium, should be there, and Maya Pratibhimba should be there. Three things are there. And therefore it's a composite entity. And no one is separate from each other. And so we take from one standpoint. Well, consciousness is Brahman. But then consciousness definitely, Chit is, consciousness is Jagat Karanam, but definitely through Maya. Or if you say Chidabhasa is, Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam, well then definitely Chit is involved. And Chidabhasa comes, then the reflecting medium also will be there. We cannot separate it. And therefore Shruti uses, yes, loosely. But that is the reason, because no one can be separate from each other. And therefore, but how we can say consciousness, well that, how do you say consciousness is not separate? Because Maya is Anadi. Maya is Anadi, and therefore reflecting medium is there, and the reflection is going to be there. Therefore Ishvara is Anadi. Not that Brahman is Anadi and Ishvara is not Anadi. That if Brahman is Anadi, beginningless, and if Ishvara is not Anadi, then we can say, well, Maya should not be there. And therefore reflection should not be there. Only pure Brahman was there. Then you can object. But when consciousness, the Chit Brahman is there, then even Maya also was there as a non-separate from Brahman. And well, then Pratibimba is all the time there. And therefore Ishvara is Anadi, Maya is Anadi, Brahman is Anadi. All the time, all three are non-separate to each other. Even though there is one reality, and that is true. Even though the reality is Brahman, but other two things are there. Mithyatvam means does not mean it non-existence. Who says Mithya means non-existent? Brahman was there. Your Maya was Mithya means it was not there. Who says that? Mithya means all the time there. As Mithya it is all the time there. Yeah. That is Mithya. That is we are not Shunyavadis. It is there. It is there, but all the time non-separate. My shadow is all the time there. Means when I am walking, my shadow is all the time there. If sunlight is there, the shadow will be there. Non-separate, it will go. If I walk 5 miles, it will walk 5 miles. But it doesn't mean that both walk together. And therefore, that's also a reality. You are also you walking 5 miles, and your shadow also walk 5 miles. Well, fine, 10 miles, both. Yeah, hey, I walk 5 miles, but your shadow walks 5 miles. Yeah, let the shadow walks. Shadow will be there all the time. That somehow that mithya means something was non-existent or will be non-existent. That kind of a thing does not go, never goes. Mithya means, it was not there or it won't be there. It was there, it is there, it will be there. And yet it is Mithya. Brahman also was there, Brahman is there, Brahman will be there. Satyam. This will be there. That's how creation also is Anadi. Anadi. Everything Anadi. Condition would be different. Unmanifest, manifest. But unmanifest also creation. Manifest also is creation. Unmanifest, Maya. Manifest, Jagat. What else? There was a time when only Brahman was there. Oh, Swamiji, but that is been told. That has been told in the Upanishad. Sadeva Somedamagrasi. Sat alone was there. That shows that as reality it is only Satyam. Mithya cannot be counted. Therefore, just as my shadow cannot be counted. Oh, Swamiji, you have all the days you have some company for a walk. Oh, right. I have a company. What? My shadow. I was walking alone. Your shadow was there. Why are you not counting? Cannot be counted. Cannot be counted. Something is there all the time does not mean equally real. Something is there all the time does not mean it is real. Anyway, and therefore Maya also as Anadi as Brahman. Therefore Maya Pratibimba also is as Anadi as Brahman. And Brahman also is as Anadi as any other thing. Maya or Maya Pratibimba. Then all the three are non-separate. So Shruti can pick up anything out of three and says it is Jagat Karanam. What is the problem? It's a loosely used, of course. And and therefore, but then what should we, which statement is stronger? Which statement is stronger? Taittiriya is stronger or Shvetashveta is stronger? Chidabhasa is a Karanam or Brahman is a Karanam? Ishvara is a Karanam or Brahman is a Karanam? Which is correct? Please tell. Which Shruti statement should be given more weightage? Yeah, that's your question. That's a perfect question. That's a perfect question. Shrutis, I have told you that, right? That rule. Shrutis smrutyoho param badhe shrutireva gariyase shrutyoho parasparam badhe nyayopeta gariyase. That is correct. So then definitely Chit is considered as a Jagat Karanam. Well, it is not logical to be called Brahman as a Jagat Karanam. Even though it is loosely used, it is correct. But in reality, primarily, Chidabhasa Ishvara alone should be called as a Jagat Karanam. Shruti Smrutyoho Parambhade. Whenever there is a contradiction between Shruti and Smruti regarding any given subject matter, then definitely Shruti Reva Gariyase. Shruti alone is having a higher pedestal between Shruti and Smruti. And Shrutyoho Parasparam Bhade, like in our case between Taittiriya Upanishad and Shvetashvata Upanishad, Parasparam Bhade, when there is a contradiction between two Shruti Vakyas for a given subject matter, not for a different subject matter. For a given subject matter, there is a contradiction. Well, Nyayopeta Gariyase. Well, you should go by logic, definitely. And if you see logically, Chit can never be the Karanam, because Brahman is Nirgunam. So very Karanatvam, the causality itself is an attribute, and cause definitely undergoes a change in order to become an effect. And therefore definitely that is, and also Karanam means it has a relationship with a Karya, naturally. When you say Karanam, means it has a relation with the Karya, Karan-Karya Sambandha. So then Brahman cannot have, Brahman is a Sangam, Brahman is Nirvikaram, and therefore it cannot be a cause and it cannot have any relation also with the effect, etc. Nothing is possible. And in that case, to be called primarily Brahman as a Jagat Karanam is going against logic. And therefore, in that case, Ishvara alone is a Jagat Karanam. Chidabhasa is all connected to the Karya. Yeah, Ishvara is connected as a Jagat Karanam, connected to the effect called Jagat. And therefore, definitely, logically if you see, Ishvara is a Jagat Karanam fits well. So that way, between two Shruti statements, you have to give more weightage to the Shvetashvata Vakya, Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyad, Mayinam tu Maheshwaram, etc., etc. That is to be taken primarily as a Jagat Karanam. As Chidabhasa, the Ishvara alone is a Jagat Karanam primarily. Brahman is a Jagat Karanam that is just secondarily, loosely usage. So there is no problem between two Shruti statements. And an Upanishad, and that too also one more reason we give you, that Chit alone appears as Chidabhasa. That's the only thing. And due to Upadhi, due to Mithya Upadhi, Chit alone appears, Brahman alone appears as Ishvara. And therefore it is not that Ishvara is a new entity and Brahman is another entity, and therefore there will be a problem between two now, who is Jagat Karan. That's not an issue, because the Brahman alone appears as Ishvara. And therefore Chid alone appears as a Chidabhasa. And therefore that is a version. Ishvara is a version of a Brahman. empirical version for empirical effect called Jagat. And therefore, there is no issue at all. Okay, so this is regarding Jagat Karan, etc. And now verse 198. 198 we have read. Of course, we have to now see that more. So here, now Vidyaranya gives detail. And after establishing Ishvara as a Jagat Karanam, etc., or Brahman as a Jagat Karanam, Vidyaranya gives the details of creation, and he also connects to that our original example. He does not mention much about example, but we have that fourth things, Dhauta Pataha, etc., the pure canvas, and then Ghattita Pataha as well, dipped into the starch, that so starch dipped canvas. And the third one is a Lanchita Pataha. There are some linings for the painting on that canvas. And then Purita Pataha, you fill up with the colors. And so these four things are there. Same way, the whole creation, right now what we are seeing is a huge canvas, huge painting rather, on the canvas. Canvas is Brahman. Canvas is Brahman. On that, that canvas is dipped into the starch. This canvas, the Brahman is dipped into the Maya starch. Okay? Brahman is dipped into Maya starch, ready for outlining, the lines and varieties of the forms, and definitely afterwards colors. So many colors, my God. Purple. I am seeing an everyday new purple color here in flowers. Everyday new something. May flowers, April showers, May flowers, fine. It's all flowers, flowers and flowers. Varieties of purples I have never seen in India. Amazing country this. Amazing. So many colors and forms, varieties of colors, my God. And Chitrapata, sometimes in a single fish, several colors. And fish just moves like this, it has a different color. So this universe, whole universe is the names and forms which are the different paintings is nothing but canvas. And that canvas is Brahman. Every name and form is Brahman. Is Brahman. Due to Maya, we could do this kind of varieties, various colors. So due to that starch, we were able to, that canvas has become fit for the painting due to starch. And afterwards, Lanchita Pataha means, definitely some lines are drawn by the painter in order to fill the colors. And then lastly, Purita Pataha. So it is colored canvas. That's a painting. So, I am Ishaha Avaikshata. Ishvara, who is a Sarvagnya Sarvashakti, visualizes the world Avaikshata, so Akamayata, and so Sankalpa basically. So this Sankalpa is very much necessary because creation is very complex. Its design has to suit all the Jivarashis, which karmas to fructify basically all have to be taken into account. So this is called Iksha, visualization, doing Sankalpa, etc. Very beautifully said in Mundaka, Tapasa Chiyate Brahma, basically Tataha Annam Abhijayate, very beautifully said there in Mundaka 118. So Tapasa Chiyate Brahma, that Chiyate means bulges. So this Brahman, Ishvara, bulges due to tapas. And tapas has as such very different meaning. So like a heat is tapas, or inquiry, tapas, knowledge, tapas. Tapas as such is a religious discipline. So Ishvara bulges due to tapas, etc. Now which meaning should be taken? So we should go in what is popular in Upanishad. And Upanishad in Bhruguvalli it is very beautifully said, etc. When the knowledge was given, so then Bhrugurvai Varunhi, etc. So tapasa brahma vijignyasasva, tapo brahmeti, etc. Tapasa brahma vijignyasasva. May you recognize it in a dialogue between Varuna and Bhrugu. We see clearly the meaning of tapas as knowledge. Tapasa brahma vijignyasasva means after Varuna imparted teaching to his son called Bhrugu, asked Bhrigu to know this Brahman by tapas, means by knowledge, definitely. So, well, and then after tapas, Bhrigu, well, understood every layer of the, the person, the Annamaya and etc., etc., one after the other. And once Bhrigu understood Ananda, well, limitlessness as Brahman, he did not come back. Otherwise, he used to come back and ask further. So, and then lastly, he noted Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat, Anandat Deva Khalvimani Bhutani Jayante, Anandena Jatani Jivanti, Yat Prayanti Abhisambhishanti, Tad Brahma, etc., etc. So, Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat, when he knew, Vyajanat means he knew that this Ananda alone, this limitlessness is a Brahman. Ananda and limitlessness is not two different things. We have discussed and we are discussing also. Ananda and Brahman. Anantam eva Anandam. There is no other Ananda. Sarupa Ananda means limitlessness. That's all. Once you know that you are limitless, well, that is Ananda. Not experiential Ananda. Anubhava Ananda and Anubhava Ananda. They say Anubhava Ananda and this Swarupa Ananda. In fact, in Anubhava Ananda also, your mind acquires a certain condition due to punya, by which your own nature, that is Ananda, reflects. Nothing else. There is no other source in the world. The source of existence in the world is Brahman. The source of knowledge is Brahman, and source of Ananda also is Brahman. There is no other source. Otherwise, if any other can be the source, then Satyam Jnanam Anantam or Satchidananda cannot be the Lakshanam of Brahman or Atma. Lakshanam cannot leave the Lakshya and can be attached to something else. Attributes, Visheshana can leave one place and will be there at other place. That is there. Lakshana cannot be. Lakshana means it's a defining a given thing. That's called, actually Lakshana means a definition. Lakshanam cannot leave the Lakshya and can be applied to something else. It is impossible. Cannot be done. If it can be applied then it is a defect in the definition. You define something and that definition is applied to something else also, means it is a defective. Like if I say, well, one who has 4 legs, he is animal. Right? One who has 4 legs is animal. Now this could be right, but we should be very, very careful, because an insect also may be there with 4 legs. Oh, but the insect is an animal. Then you don't use the word insect. When you see an insect, you say insect. So definitely insects, we have another category, and some insects may have 4 legs also. So you have to define in such a way that definition should not be applied to any other thing. If it applies to any other thing, it is considered as a dosha in a nyaya. And that dosha is called ativyapti dosha. Means the definition, instead of indicating to a given lakshya, that lakshana indicating to a given lakshya, well, indicates something else also. So it crosses the boundary. Ativyapti. That's a dosha. Your definition should be free from 3 doshas. Ativyapti, Abhyapti, and Asambhavana, they call. Very tight definition you should give. In that our gurus, Nayayikas, very great people. That's how they are gurus for us. Most of the things we adopt. We talk about, I told you yesterday, this Vada and Jalpa and Vitanda and all that. And we feel that, why Vedantins have thought about so much about this dialogue. Vada, Vitanda and Jalpa. This is all there in their system, not us, not ours. Anyway, what I am saying is, so this, if you say Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam is a Lakshana of a Brahman, or Satchidananda is a Lakshana of a Brahman, that cannot go any other thing. Ananda is, there is no source of Ananda other than the self. No source. There is other source, that is samsara. There is a source of Ananda somewhere, some place, some time, some object, some person. That's samsara. That shows a lack of vairagya. lack of objectivity. That shows a lack of value. There is no other source of ananda other than the self. And then thereby you become an objective to the objective world. You don't put any subjective value on any object. Well, that is vairagya. That kind of a state of mind is vairagya, where you are objective to the entire objective world. So, definitely, anyway. So, here tapas. So, tapas means basically, one should know, and when Bhrigu came to know Anando Brahmeti Vyajanat, and thereafter he did not go back to Varuna, the father, in order to inquire regarding Brahman. But every time Varuna was telling to Bhrigu, Tapasa Brahma Vijignyasasa, Tapasa Brahma Vijignyasasa, may you know this Brahman. Well, Tapasa, may you acquire may you inquire into Brahman, may you know the Brahman. Well, so this is how in Upanishad word tapas is in the form of knowledge. Now tapasa here tapasa chiyate Brahma. Ishvara bulges tapasa with knowledge. So Ishvara identifies with his own knowledge. That's called tapas. Ishvara identifies with his own knowledge. Yeah. So basically, word tapas, of course, in Mundaka also has been used for the knowledge. In the very next mantra after this, 119, it says, Yas sarvagnyah sarvavid yasya jnanamayam tapaha. Clear, very clear. So, basically, there is no other tapas for Ishvara. Ishvara is not to follow religious discipline. Well, I have to do some fasting in order to acquire punya. Ishvara is not to do all this tapas. So this tapas means basically knowledge. So Ishvara has to identify with the knowledge. Without identification with the knowledge, Ishvara is Brahman, just Chaitanya. When identifies with the knowledge, he becomes a creator, Karana. How? See, architect is a person. He's a person. He's not an architect. When that person, a given person, a conscious being, gets identified with the knowledge of architecture in order to create a plan. Yeah. All the time he is not identifying with his knowledge of architecture. Yeah. When he is talking to a Swami, unless Swami asks something. Otherwise he is just talking. Something else. But in order to create a plan, well, he identifies with his knowledge. So Brahman is a Brahman. When Brahman, if creation has not to be done, then Brahman is Brahman. Brahman identifies with his own knowledge in order to create the Jagat. Oh, but then for knowledge, definitely, architect identifies with the knowledge. Then architect definitely should have a mind. Otherwise, where the knowledge will be? Knowledge is in the mind. So basically, do you mean architect identifies with his mind? Yes. No problem. Then Ishvara, how? When Brahman identifies with the knowledge in order to create the Jagat. Then what is the Upadhi? There it is a mind is Upadhi in case of architect. Here what is Upadhi? Maya. Okay. And so Brahma requires an Upadhi to identify with the knowledge and becomes the cause of the creation. Because Brahman itself does not undergo any change in order to create. So Brahman gets connected to Maya. What is this? What are you saying? Before 5 minutes you said, Brahman is Anadi and Maya also is Anadi, and Maya is always non-separate from the Brahman, and now you say Brahman is connected to the Maya. We have to everywhere. Whenever creation comes, creator comes, everything comes, you have to add one word. Keep a lot of that, words in your pocket. Add everywhere Eva. What is this Eva? Eva or Iva? No, Eva. As though, dhyayati Eva, lelayati Eva. Yeah, everything. Who says he has created? Who says he has created? Who says? No, no, no. Upanishad says. Upanishad says that this is Brahman. What you experience is Brahman. What is in the front is Brahman. What is in the back is Brahman. Remember? Brahma eva purastad, Brahma dakshinatah, uttarena, etc. etc. What is in the front is Brahman, in the back is Brahman, and the side it is Brahman. And if everything is Brahman, where is creation? That's what I am saying you. And therefore, Brahman as to identifies with the Maya, Upadhi. So as to identifies with the knowledge. And that Brahman is called now Ishvara, Sarvajnaha. Yes, Sarvajna, Sarvavid, Yasya Jnanamayam Tapaha. And so, basically, seemingly get connected to Maya, because from the manifest, which is Maya, well, the Jagat is going to manifest now. And so, but then here it is said it bulges. Yeah, it is very true. It is a poetic expression. Yeah, Brahman as though bulges through knowledge. It bulges. Yeah, just as the sprout, well, definitely, which exists in the seed in a potential form, of course, unmanifest, emerges from the seed and only. So we place the particular seed in the water, and then definitely its binding factor loosens. The seed absorbs certain water, and so binding factor as though get dilated, and so there is bulging. So now that sprout bulges. Why? In order so that the sprout can, the seed bulges so that sprout can come out. Same way. Well, Brahman identifies with the Maya Upadhi, identifies with his knowledge, so that now the whole creation come out. That creation which was there in the unmanifest form, that alone is the Maya. Okay? And therefore, well, now Brahman has to identify with his Maya, and then he is ready for the creation. So that is called, when Brahman identifies with his Maya Upadhi, identifies with the knowledge. What knowledge? Knowledge of previous creation. And identifying with the knowledge of creation, because he is going to create now. And how was the creation before, etc. Is this all figuratively called bulging, or else called visualization, or else called identifying with the knowledge, or else called identifying with the Maya. All this is figurative expression. So Brahman does not really bulge. It cannot bulge. What is already bulged is Brahman, and therefore bulging indicates a readiness for Brahman to create. That's all. And therefore, here also it has been said, well, very beautifully, Aham Bahusyami. Naturally, I become many. So this is, let me multiply into manifold Jiva Rashi, basically. So, Jiva is created? Jiva is created? Yeah, Jiva is created. What are you talking? Oh, Vedantin, really, you are such a confused person on earth I have never seen. Jiva is a created? Yeah, Jiva is a created. Then how you are saying Jiva is Brahman? If Jiva is created from Brahman, then you say Jiva is Brahman, means Brahman is also created. You equate Jiva and Brahman, I don't equate, and now you are saying Jiva is created, Brahman is a creator. What are you saying? What are you saying? That's Jiva is created. And therefore, Jiva is created from Brahman. And then you say Jiva and Brahman, there is one entity alone. How can it be? So this is the issue. Yeah, correct. Well, Jiva is Brahman, but Jiva doesn't know that he is Brahman. Under that condition, he takes himself, under the spell of ignorance, he takes himself as a Karta Bhokta. He's got connected to the karma by law of karma. If you are Karta, you are connected to karma. And therefore, this Kartrutvam, Bhoktrutvam, etc., he takes himself Karta Bhokta, and then definitely karmas are there. Those karmas give rise to subtle body and gross body. Yeah. So Brahman, with this avidya upadhi, due to ignorance, avidya upadhi enters into the body and experience pleasure, pain, this, that, etc. Okay. Once he knows he is Brahman, automatically all connection go. Yeah, then prarabdha is there, so body will continue for length of time. Yeah, Jiva is a conscious being. Well, definitely, it's just a consciousness alone. But due to avidya upadhi, well, he doesn't know he is Brahman. That's the issue. And therefore, Jiva is not created. Actually, the bodies are created. Bodies are created. Jiva is not created. Anyway, so there are several issues. Jiva is created with what? So all Jiva Rashis basically. So, but Ishvara has so the Brahman says Bahusyam Prajayam, may I become many. And this is also our experience. I create many Jivas, right? I create many Jiva. I am a Jiva and I create many Jivas. I am a waker. Under the spell of ignorance, I create many Jivas. Ishvara also does the same thing. Brahman, of course, that is also Brahman. With Maya Upadhi, well, he becomes many. Well, the waker under Vidya Upadhi becomes many. Ishvara with Maya Upadhi becomes many. Same thing. With Upadhi becomes many. That's a creation. One become many is a creation. With one with a Maya Upadhi, one with a Vidya Upadhi. So Vaker cannot become many. Yeah, Vaker has to be covered. Vaker has to be covered. With what? With the deep sleep state, right? And then only it creates. So Vaker under the spell of ignorance. So Vaker's nature as though has been covered. And then creates. So Ishvara with the Maya Upadhi of course creates. In the case of Ishvara there is, because there is Maya Upadhi. And therefore, well, Maya cannot, cover the Ishvara as such. So Ishvara knows I am Brahman. Anyway, we have seen all this. So Upadana Karanam, Ishvara is not only Nimitta Karanam, Upadana Karanam also, because he becomes many. Like I am the Upadana Karanam of the entire dream world. All Jivas I create, right, and resolves into me also. They are created from me, they are sustained by me, and they are resolved into me. That's how it is. So Ishvara also, through Maya, will manifest into all these names and forms, sustained by same Ishvara, and well resolves into also Ishvara, Brahman. I am using word Ishvara because the Jagat Karanam is there, and therefore I am using ultimately Brahman with the Upadhis, and only Maya Upadhi is called Ishvara. Okay, so what type of Ishvara? Now some further. Anandamayaha Ishaha. No, Anandamayaha Ishaha. So Anandamayaha Isha. So in Mandukya, you see what happens is, the Acharya says many things. He says this Ishvara, who is a Jagat Karanam, is Anandamayaha. In Mandukya 5th mantra, if you see, the 5th mantra says, Yatra suptaha na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati tat sushuptam sushupta sthanaha eki bhutaha prajnanaganaha eva anandamayaha anandabhuk chetomukha prajnaha trutiyah padaha. Anandamaya is equated with the prajnaha. Prajnaha is equal to karana sharira abhimani chaitanya. So Anandamaya has been equated with the prajnaha, and that prajnaha has been equated with the Ishvara in the very next mantra, in the 6th mantra, which we have analyzed also. Eshaha sarveshwaraha, esha sarvajnaha, eshaha antaryami, eshaha yonihi, sarvasya prabhavapyayohi bhutanam. That prajna karana sharira abhimani is Anandamaya, because, well, definitely Ananda book. Karana sharira abhimani chaitanyam is prajna. Prajna means what? Deep sleeper. Deep sleeper. And what does he experience? Ananda. Right? In a deep sleep state, what is pradhanam? What is predominance? What is a predominant upadhi? Karana sharira. Why? Because sthula and sukshma have resolved. Where? In the karana. They are karya. They have been resolved there. Yeah. They have not flown away somewhere. So this sthula sharira has gone somewhere, flying. And sukshma sharira has gone somewhere. Karya always resolves into karanam. And therefore, both have resolved into karanam. And that karana sharira abhimani chaitanyam, that is a deep sleeper, that's called prajna. And that prajna experiences predominantly joy. So Anandamaya. Anandamaya means prachuryarthe. Mayat prachuryarthe. Prachurya means predominance. So Anandamaya has a predominance of Ananda. Well, that is nothing but a state called deep sleep. And there in the what is obtained is a Karana Sharira Abhimani Chaitanyam. And that Karana Sharira Abhimani Chaitanyam is called Prajna. Mandukya says that Prajna alone is a Ishvara. How? Well, I have to explain again. So, and basically this Karana and Karya, this is very, as we have discussed at this point, and we'll talk about it now. So, unmanifest condition is Karana, manifest condition is Karya. That we know very well also. And if Karana Shariram is a potential form of a Sthula Sukshma Sharira, we can extend this same principle to the macrocosmic level also. This is a microcosm. Microcosm means, well, Sthula Sukshma will resolve into Karana. Because the manifest condition, that is Karya. Sthula Sukshma Sharira, well, is a Karya. That's a manifest thing. And when it resolves, that is unmanifest condition, is called Karana. Same. When Karya resolves into Karana, manifest resolves into unmanifest, called Karana. Anyway, so this is at a microcosm level. That can be extended to the macrocosm also. And therefore, at a samashti level also, if you extend to the samashti level, then we have to say Sthula and Sukshma Prapancha. Not Sthula Sukshma Sharira now. I have replaced the word Sharira and I have put another word called Prapancha. Naturally, at a samashti level, it is a Prapancha. So, Sthula Sukshma Prapancha, well, basically, also, which is called effect, will resolve into what? Well, resolve into when they become, that is, right now it is manifest, Sthula Sukshma Prapancha. When they resolve, becomes unmanifest. That's a Karana. So, Sthula Sukshma Prapancha is a Karya. When resolve becomes unmanifest, it's called Karana. So, I can say Karana Prapancha. Sthula Sukshma Sharira resolves, Karya resolves, manifest resolves into unmanifest, called Karanam, called Karana Sharira. Well, at a macrocosm level, Sthula Sukshma Prapancha resolves and then becomes unmanifest. That's called Karana Prapancha. Here Karana Sharira, here Karana Prapancha. Same thing. One at a microcosm level, this is at a macrocosm level. And so, all Sthula Sukshma Prapancha resolves into Karana Prapancha, becomes unmanifest, means what? All gross elements and subtle elements and everything resolves. They exist in now potential condition, Karana Prapancha. And so Vyashti level, at a macrocosm level, at individual level, we call both have resolved into Karana Sharira. And at the samashti level, we use the word Karana Prapancha. And we have another names for both. Karana Sharira, which is nothing but a unmanifest condition of the Karya, Sthula Sukshma Sharira. That Karana Sharira is called Avidya. And Sthula Sukshma Prapancha becomes unmanifest, and we call Karana Prapancha. Then that Karana Prapancha has another name called Maya. That's how it is. So Avidya and Maya, there are two different names. And well, so what is at the Vyashti level, what that is at the Samashti level. That's okay. That's okay. But then you are saying, well, this Karana Sharira Abhimani Chaitanyam is equated with the Ishvara. Prajna is equated with the Ishvara, means Karana Sharira Abhimani Chaitanyam is equated, it is equated that Maya Pratibhimita Chaitanyam, Ishvara. How? Because at the Karana level, at an unmanifest level, there is no distinction. Distinction is there, but you cannot experience the distinction. So we have used the word Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha. At a Karana level, microcosm, macrocosm division is not evident. Not that they have become one. Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha become one. So there is no avidya, only there is Maya. No. When avidya goes, then well, let the Maya be there, Ishvara be there. But avidya is there, then definitely from avidya only he comes out. Okay? And so he gets another subtle body and gross body, etc. as per his avidya, his karma and vasanas and everything. Yeah. So, so, so during deep sleep state, the differences, microcosm, macrocosm division, avidya, Maya division is not evident. And macro division is evident at a sthula level, gross level. Macro division is evident at a subtle level, sukshma level also. Very, very beautifully, that's our own experience, I will tell you that. So that's how I can talk about gross body while I'm waking. So at that time I can talk about this gross body and gross world. For me, division is very clear. If division is not clear, I will say, well, I am this sthula prapancha. But sthula sharira, sthula prapancha division is very clear in my mind. That's how I use the word gross body. And well, I can identify with this also. And the rest of the world, I don't identify. So the division is very clear. Microcosm, macrocosm division at the gross level is evident in waking state. Then microcosm, macrocosm division is evident at a subtle level also in waking state. You say, well, my mind. You don't say my mind is a samashti mind. If you have samashti mind, if you experience that kind of thing, means, well, what? You are ready for the jnana. Yeah. That's what upasaka does. Anyway, so microcosm, macrocosm, individual and total mind division is clear in your mind in a waking state. So means what? Microcosm, macrocosm division at a gross level and at a subtle level is evident. When? Waking state. Waking state. But at a karana level, though individual and total must be there, but it is not evident. That's how the karanam, we call it as also avyaktam, etc., unmanifest. So, why you have to clarify all this? Shastra's job it is, Swamiji. Why you should not do all this kind of things? Why every time you have to open some pages and all the time talk about this? Recently we resolved that issue of Ishvara and Brahman, and now this another issue, avidya and Maya and all that. Shastra has two approaches. In one approach, they make a division between Karana Shariram and Karana Prapancha. That's one approach, avidya and Maya. And there is another approach in which they don't make this distinction, because the distinction, even though it is there, it is not evident. And if you want an example, nearest experiential example is during waking state I can experience the division. During dream state also I can experience the division. But in a sleep state where the division has gone to unmanifest potential condition, I cannot experience the division between me and the world. Me means maybe you consider yourself as a gross body, no problem. Me means this me and the world division is clear in waking state, clear. Me means my mind and others' mind division is clear, clear. Why? Fine. In dream also, just at a subtle level, forget now gross part, still division is clear in dream. In dream, division is there or not? Is there. In dream, division is there or not? You experience the world and the world is distinct from you, different from you. That division is there in a dream or not? It is there. And therefore, gross level and subtle level, the division is experienced, is very evident in waking state and in dream state. And once you once you gain that deep sleep state, division is not evident. So once you go to the karana level, there is no division. So once you identify with this just karana sharira, abhimani chaitanya, so then there is no division between you and the world. So you don't experience a distinct world from you, gross or subtle. And therefore, between the division between micro and macro, well, where it is not experienced, that is called deep sleep state. That's called deep sleep state. When you don't experience the division between you and the world, that's a deep sleep state. That's how sometimes they call it as a nirvikalpaka avastha also. Nirvikalpaka avastha means not after samadhi. This is nirvikalpa avastha. Yeah. Samadhi and sushupti, no difference. Difference is where you are aware of it that you are nirvikalpaka. And you are not aware, that's a deep sleep. Even though you are in a nirvikalpa, means no division. Vikalpa means a division. Nirvikalpa means no division. You experience no division in a deep sleep state, but you are not aware. In samadhi, you are aware. That's the only difference between the two. Anyway, and therefore, sometime acharyas equates avidya with the maya. Sometimes they don't equate. Like in Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya ji has not done. While describing about a Karana Sharira, he has given whole description of Maya. Avyakta Namni Shakti, etc., etc. Whole division. He was discussing Sthula Sharira, Sukshma Sharira, and then Karana Sharira is to discuss. When Karana Sharira discussion came, he started describing Maya. So he does not keep a division of avidya and Maya, Karana Sharira and Karana Prapancha. And such a division Mandukya also has not kept. So anyway, so this is enough. And so here Acharya says this, well, that basically Anandamayaha Ishaha. So Anandamayaha Ishaha. Anandamaya means Prajna, and Prajna and Ishvara has been equated. Means definitely Prajna and Ishvara, the difference is due to that Upadhi. One is Avidya Upadhi, Karana Sharira Upadhi, that's Prajna, and Ishaha, Maya Upadhi, Karana Prapancha, and then, well, but no division. Avidya Maya differences is not there. Prajna and Ishvara are essentially one, basically. Essentially both are Brahman alone anyway. But the Upadhi is there, Swamiji. Upadhi is there. Yeah, but Upadhi is mithya, and therefore the division based on Upadhi also is mithya. But anyway. So from a Veshti level where we say Prajna, from Samashti level, macro angle, we can say Ishvara, microcosm. So Anandamayaha ayam Ishaha. Anandamaya in Mandukya, well, is, has been equated with the Ishvara. In the sixth mantra, that's what we discussed, Antaryami, etc. Aisha Sarveshwara, etc. Okay, from that Ishvara, what has come? This Hiranyagarbha is born. And so, Samashti Sukshma Prapancha is evolved. Lanchita Pata. From which Pata? From Gattita Pata. From that starch deep consciousness. Starch deep canvas, I'm sorry. Canvas and consciousness, same thing. Anyway. Therefore, starch deep canvas. Well, from there, you get now a Lanchitapata with a certain outlines. This canvas now has a few outlines. That's called Hiranyagarbha. Yeah. So, Dhautapataha, Brahman. Then Gattitapataha, Ishvara. And now the third stage, Lanchitapataha, outlines. That is Hiranyagarbha. Sukshma Prapancha. Samashti Sukshma Prapancha is evolved. From what? From Ishvara alone. Ekoham Bahusyam. Ekoham Bahusyam. Ishvara, who is having that Karana Prapancha as a Upadhi, Maya as a Upadhi. From there, all Samashti Sukshma Prapancha is born. Then definitely Brahman identified with Maya Brahman, that same Brahman identified with the Samashti Sukshma Prapancha also. And then, so that he is called now Hiranyagarbha. Ishvara is called Hiranyagarbha. That's how Yo Devana, what is that? Brahma Devanam Prathamas Sambhabhuva. Vishwasya Karta Bhuvanasya Gopta. Mundaka Upanishad, first mantra. Brahma Devanam Prathamas Sambhabhuva. From Ishvara, who is the first born? Prathamaja. Brahmaji is called Prathamaja. Prathamam Jayate. And from Ishvara, well, from Karana Prapancha, the first thing which came out is a Karya. was a Sukshma Prapancha. Samashti Sukshma Shariram or Sukshma Prapancha, which is evolved from him only, from Ishvara alone. Because Maya is not somewhere sitting and he told Maya, now start. No. Maya is, is there. What's the relationship between Maya and Brahman? What is that? You said Maya is non-separate from Brahman. So where it is situated? Whether it is there or not, you better check. Then we will discuss about location, okay? And therefore, this Maya is Sadasat. We have seen that. Maya is Sadasat Vilakshana. Whether it is there, can't say. Whether it is not there, can't say. Maya is not there. Only thing is Brahman. What are you saying? Yeah, that Shruti says. Okay, Shruti Pramana says one thing. But Pratyaksha Pramana, which is equally powerful, says what? Maya is there because you experience this world. So then definitely Karanam must be there. So this whole Prapancha, Sthula Sukshma Prapancha must have come from where? From Karana Prapancha, unmanifest. That is Maya. So Maya must be there because you experience the world. So Pratyaksha Pramana reveals, Maya is there. Shruti says Maya is not there. Purastat Brahma, Paschat Brahma, Dakshina. Therefore, ultimately Maya is not there. So Maya, one says Maya is there, one says Maya is not there. Leave. Then Maya is Sat, is there. Maya is not there, Asat. Sad Asat Vilakshana. Why should we unnecessarily hurt anybody? Pratyaksha or Shruti. We don't want to hurt anybody. Okay. Since we experience the world, Maya is there. Since Shruti is ultimately Pramanam for all these issues, all this subject matter, then says what is there is just Brahman. Therefore there is no Maya. So Sadasat Vilakshana. Anyways, that is Mithya. Ultimately, but something is there. Anirvachaniyam. Something is there. What is there we don't know. We cannot categorize as a Sat or a Sat. So Sadasat Vilakshana. Anyway, so from such a Ishvara who is having this Upadhi, and this creation has come. So creation is also Sadasat Vilakshana. Creation is also Mithya. Yeah, Maya itself is Sadasat Vilakshanam. Therefore, from Maya, unmanifest, Karana Prapancha, what comes out also is like this. Subtle world. Subtle Prapancha also is like this. And then from subtle world, definitely grossification. Gross world. That also is like this. Therefore, Jagat Mithya. Jagat Sadasat Vilakshanam. Brahman is Satyam. Anyway, so he gives an example for this. How from Ishvara this Hiranyagarbha is born, Brahmaji is born from navel of Vishnu. How? So Supti Yatha Suptihi Swapnaha Bhavet. Just as we come out, when we are in a deep sleep state, we come to the Sapna Prapancha, subtle world, from the Supti. Same way from Karanavastha, in a deep sleep state, we come to this dream state. There is other possibility also. We get, we wake up also. We can wake up or we can dream either. So Yatha Suptihi Sapnaha Bhavet, but here it gives an example of a dream. Just as a deep sleeper becomes a individual dreamer, basically. Same way at macro level, Ishvara is like a Karana Prapancha Vimani Chaitanyam, Maya Pratibimbita Chaitanyam. That becomes a Sukshma Prapancha Vimani Chaitanyam. And so that's called Hiranyagarbha. And then Vidyaranya raises another question and answers. That we will see day after tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.